What is up, you YouTubers? It is I, Henry, coming to you today with a new deck that I just finished putting together and testing. It's my Masked Heroes deck, and the structure deck just came out very recently, and I have my own tech choices in this. Sorry, this is not IRL in real life because I have not made it out to buy the structure deck itself. But the structure deck is actually a very good structure deck, and when I get one, I will post a box opening of it, or a pack opening, or structure deck opening, whatever you want to call it, and you guys can view it from there. It is a very good structured deck, and so I'm going to shut up and, well, not shut up, but get right into the deck profile. So, of course, you have your 3 Elemental Hero Shadow Mist. This is the new Stratos of the deck, but not exactly. When it's special summoned, you can add a change quick play spell card from your deck to your hand. Or, when this card is sent to the graveyard, add a hero monster from your deck to your hand. Next, 3 Elemental Hero Neos Alias. This is your biggest monster that you can normal summon without going into your extra deck. And you primarily only use this to get over problematic monsters and go into Shining or Koga. It's still necessary, even though you don't use it that much. It's still necessary. Next, 3 Elemental Hero Bubbleman. Bubbleman is just too good not to run in this deck at 3, because what you do half the time with it is you add everything, or you add it to your hand with Mist, set everything, special summon it, and if you have another monster you can overlay, or if you have a change quick play spell card that can fusion summon, you activate it and get Acid or any other one of the monsters that you have. And it's really, really good for pulling out your rank 4 Xyzes. Next, I'm running 3 Goblinberg. Goblinberg is really good in this deck because it's a level 4 warrior, so it can be searchable with Rhoda. And it is able to special summon Mist out of your hand, so you get Mist effect, to add the change quick play spell cards. And you can also still go into a rank 4. Now, if you don't have Mist, but you have Goblinberg and any of these other level 4s, I normally go Goblinberg, and I overlay into a monster in my extra deck to get Masked to my hand, and I will explain Masks in depth once I get to it. 2 Summoner Monk. It's not the most ideal, but it still can special summon Mist from your deck by ditching a spell, so you kind of have to run it at 2. Plus, it's a dark, so it works well with Mask Change too. 1 Mask Chameleon, because if you add this to your hand with King of the Feral Pimps, I call him Pimps because he's a pimp, and normally Goblinberg will almost always be a material. Detach Goblinberg, add Chameleon. Next turn, normal summon Chameleon, special summon Goblinberg because it has 0 defense, and you can overlay or synchro into a rank 4 or a level 8 synchro monster. I'm running 1 Kageto Kage just because of King of the Feral Imps. When you want to use its effect twice, you can add Kage to hand and go into another rank 4, or normal summon Alias or Bubbleman, or Goblinberg, special summon Kageto Kage, and then use Mask Change 2 to go into a Dark Law. That's it for the monsters. I'm only running a 16 monster count, not that high of a monster count, because you have all of these search cards to get them to your hand or on the field by Goblinberg or Summoner Monk. On to spells, 3 Emergency Calls for your 9 targets. Of course, Staple has to be run at 3 in this deck. I'm only running 1 A Hero Lives because I don't like the concept where you have to pay half your life points, but it's still mandatory to run because it helps get you a elemental hero monster when you need one the most, and helps go for game pushes. 3 Mask Change. I was originally running 2 Mask Change and 2 Mask Change 2s, but then I realized Mask Change and 1 Mask Change 2 would work the best. This is the spell card you will use the most to fusion summon your masked heroes. What it does is you target 1 hero monster you control, so it can be Elemental Hero or Destiny Hero, send it to the graveyard, and special summon 1 masked hero from your extra deck that has the same attribute. Next is 1 Mask Change. This pretty much does the same thing, except you have to discard 1 card, and the monster you're fusion summoning has to be a level higher. I run the Mask Change because I have the target of Goblinberg, and I didn't want to run another Elemental Hero monster, so I chose to run Mask Change 2. So what I can do is I can go Goblinberg, summon Mist, add Mass Change 2 to my hand. Mass Change, discard 1 card, summon a fusion monster that's an Earth from my extra deck, and it's just really, really good, but you only needed it 1. I originally was not running Form Change, but then I realized how good Form Change was, so I'm now running, 2 Form Changes. I did this. It's really, really funny when your opponent wants to get rid of the monster and you Form Change so the card they used loses its target. And an example of this is I pulled out Diane on my opponent by using Mass Change 2 and Goblinberg, and that's Diane is the fusion monster you use going into it. And then he tried to bottomless my Diane. Then I chained Form Change and went into Acid, and it was just really, really OP. It was so good because that got me game right there. 1 Mask Charge. What it does is you target 1 hero monster and 1 change quick play spell card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. The only downside is it can be cloggy when you don't have one or the other, because you do have to have both a hero and a change quick play spell card in your grave. That is why I'm only running 1, no more than 1, because more than 1 gets too cloggy in my opinion. Plus, I don't see the space for it. Next, I'm running 2 Miracle Fusion because you are able to banish elemental hero monsters from your grave or field to summon a elemental hero monster from your extra deck. And I have 3 targets for this in my extra deck that I will get to later on in this video. 3 Rhoda, pretty much no explaining there, adds your elemental heroes and your Goblinbergs to hand. 3 MST for back row because you do not want your plays to get shut down by your opponent or else you are pretty much screwed. 1 Snatch Steal because you are able to probably Mass Change 2 and do one of your fusion monsters or overlay into a rank 4. Tip for spells onto traps, 2 Fiendish Chain for effect negation, and then for summon negation, 1 Solemn, and then to banish monsters that your opponent summons, 1 Bottomless Trap Hole. I am running 4 traps, 20 spells, and 16 monsters. 20 spells, you can cut the spell count down if you want, but it doesn't clog that often because you do have, like I said, these 7 cards to get a monster out of your deck. Onto the side deck, 2 Chain Material. What Chain Material does is anytime you fusion summon a monster this turn, you can remove from play from your side of the field, deck, hand, or graveyard Fusion Materials monsters that are listed on that fusion card, and use them as Fusion Material monsters. Unfortunately, though, you are unable to attack the turn you activate this effect. Or use this effect. Yeah. And the fusion monster is destroyed during the end phase. Next, for my side, 3 Spell Shattering Arrows for the Pendulum mashups and just decks that require field spells. And then 2 Mind Crush because pretty much everything adds to hand, including this deck. I thought about Thunder King, but then I realized Thunder King would kill me, like no joke, literally kill me. So that's when I decided to just go with the Mind Crushes instead. 2-Dimensional Fissure, or 1-Dimensional Fissure, and 1 Macro. This and these 2 plus Darklaw is just OP, and there is a ruling, guys, where if you play D-Fissure, Macro, or Darklaw, instead of Pendulum monsters going to the extra deck, they will be banished. 2 Effect Veiler for effect negation, and I know my opponent will be going first. I will side out any of these cards. I will leave the Fiendish Chain, though, because those can help late game, but I will side these in. And then 1 Shadow Imprisoning Mirror for Burning Abyss and Shaddolls. I didn't want to side in 2 because I need my Darklaw, I need my Summoner Monk, and I need my Mist. So that's why I'm only siding 1. 2 Breakthrough Skills for effect negation, and I know I'm going to be going first, when I can choose I'm going first. And then 1 Compulse for if I really feel that I need it to get rid of problematic monsters. That's it for the 15 card side deck. The 15 card extra deck goes as follows. 2 Shining. This is the primarily fusion monster you will pull out when fusion summoning with your aliases. Really, really good because it can get up to over. If you play Miracle Fusion and summon this, which is the only way you'll pretty much pull it out, you will be able to get this guy up to 3200 attack at least, which is still freaking amazing because it gets over Leo, and it doesn't get rid of Beals, but it can inflict damage through Beals, and if you've negated Beals' effects, it's just OP as heck. I don't want to curse, and I just didn't want to curse there. And then 1 Elemental Hero Absolute Zero, it's just too OP not to run. I kind of want the price to drop somewhat from $15 to $20 to like 10. Ugh, I'm uncomfortable. Just because I want it to be more budget. And Absolute Zero you will always pull out with your Bubble Man, of course. Onto the masked heroes of the extra deck. 2 Dark Law, because 2 Dark Law is pretty much mandatory. 3 you will not need because you will never pull out 3. 2 is just right because you will pull out 2. And if you run 1, well, you're screwed because you have lost that 1. And pretty much, this is a one-sided macro. Anything sent to your opponent's graveyard is banished instead. I'm running 1 acid for back row clear, and when it's summoned, your opponent's monsters lose 300. Or if you destroy all spell and trap cards, which is its effect, all your opponent's monsters lose 300 attack. And it's just amazing. Because even if you can't go into Shining, you can go into this, and their monsters lose 300 attack, so you can still probably attack over them. And it's just amazing. 1 Diane, because when you attack and it destroys a monster by battle, you can special summon 1 elemental hero monster from your deck, so you'll probably summon Mist. And then to close up the fusions of the deck, 1 Masked Hero Koga. I don't see why a lot of people don't run this because it gains 500 attack for each monster your opponent controls, and once per turn, you can banish a card from a monster from your graveyard, or is it monster? A hero monster from your graveyard, and that monster you targeted loses the attack equal to that hero's monster's original attack. The rank 4s of the extra deck, 1 Exciton, 101, and Castel, the 3 staples of the extra deck now. 1 King the Feral Imps to add your Masked Chameleon and Kageto Kage to your hand. Primarily the Masked Chameleon is what you will add first, because you will detach the Goblinberg, search the Masked, and then go into your Synchro monsters. 1 Emerald, just in case you feel like you're running out of monsters or supplies, you can just put them, you feel like you're running out of monster supplies, you can just put them back into the deck. Then to close off the extra deck, 2 Synchro level 8 monsters, 1 Scrap Dragon, because it's a Diamond Dire and Xyz form, and 1 Colossal Fighter, because when this card is destroyed by battle, destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can target a warrior monster in either player's graveyard and special summon it. So you can bounce this thing back, or get any of your elemental heroes or Goblinbergs. Plus, this card gains 100 attack for each warrior in your graveyard, and since you're running 12 warriors, it can get up to potentially 4,000 attack, which is just too OP not to do. I'm surprised people haven't thought about this. The Masked Chameleon into Colossal Fighter or Scrap Dragon by using Goblinberg, because I think it's actually really, really like OP and broken as heck to pull out, because they destroy Colossal Fighter by battle. You can pull out a Mist and go for a Mass Change and fusion summon into Dark Law. It's just OP. Well, that's it for the deck profile, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm out. Peace!